morning, Vietnam. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to It's Only Monday podcast. This is the podcast to put a little pep in your step. This is a podcast to make a Monday feel like a Friday. This is the podcast to get your Mondays going. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy JT. Welcome back to another Monday morning. I hope you're feeling blessed. I hope you're feeling fresh. I hope you're feeling ready to take on the day, the week, the hour, the morning, all those type of things. Let's talk about little wins today, right? Let's talk about little wins this morning really quick before we get into what I actually want to talk about today. I have a good talk with you guys today. I think it's going to be a good conversation. But let's talk about little wins. You know, I think we all know about wins in general, right? We all have these ideas of big wins and all that kind of stuff, you know, big accomplishments, big goals, and we finally do those. But the little wins, right? The little wins to stack up. You know, people say to win the morning, right? Some people, you know, you wake up early, you get your breakfast in, you might get a little workout in, you might do what you need to do, and then you get to the point where, you know, you're ready to go for the day. That's a W, that's a win. So, you know, appreciate that and take that in and be like, yo, that's a win, I'll take that. Spreading your bed in the morning. Maybe you're someone that never spreads your bed. Who knows, right? You always skip that. You know, you're like, I want to start spreading my bed and making my bed every morning. And you do that, right? So that's another win, you know? Anything else, you know, making on time. Maybe you want to get to work on time. Maybe you've been going to school, work, whatever, late every single day, or like you're late 50% of the time. Maybe you want to change that, right? So, hey, today you're on time. You're early. What's that thing in Drumline? You're late if you're on time if you're 5 minutes early. You're late if you're on time. But you know what I mean? Like you might want to be a little earlier today and be there ready to go. So like that might be a win too. So if you have little wins this morning, you know, as you're listening to this, getting ready throughout the day, stack those up, write those down, keep them in your mind, and remember all the little wins you have for today, because that will make you realize that you're winning the day. When you win the morning, you win the afternoon, and then you win the evening, that means you won the day, right? Break up the day in little pieces. Again, one thing I always do is always like to break things up into the most easiest way to digest it, right? Information in the sense of like, if I look at something, I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but like the way I used to, because I can draw, right? And the way I learned to draw was by looking at it, the picture I wanted to copy and be like, all right, it wasn't even a picture. It was actually an action figure. I think of like Goku, Dragon Ball Z. And I was like, the way I'm going to do this is by just drawing lines, shapes, circles, triangles, squiggly lines, etc. And it's all going to come together to make this picture of Goku or Vegeta, whoever I was drawing. So, you know what I mean? Think of your day like that. You want to win the week. You want to win the year. Let's say you want to win the year, right? Whatever that means for you. Well, you first got to win the first hour of the day, then the second, and then the morning, and then the afternoon, and then the evening, and then you win the day. Then you do that again, and you do that for 7 days, you win the week. You keep doing that, you win the month. You keep doing that, you win the quarter. You keep doing that, you win the half year, whatever. Time's a construct, but like you hear what I'm trying to say, right? Since we have a little time schedule that we like to use in this world, let's go by that. So if you do that, it accumulates over time and it's just W's, right? So I want you to look at this morning like that. And it kind of breaks your days up and your years up and your months and weeks and everything into these small little segments. And you realize how much time you actually have. But today I have a little of a framework I want to talk about today. So let me drink a little of my coffee this morning. It's probably still hot. I was listening to it wasn't even a podcast. I was listening to this video. You know those videos where people go around and they go like, oh, what do you do for a living? Right? Or like, oh, how much do you make a year? Those type of videos. I was watching one of those videos the other day, and one of the guys in the video that I was answering his questions had this like awesome answer. I loved what his answer was. And the reason why it stuck in my mind, and I actually adopted it, it's something I've been doing, I feel like, majority of my life. But when he said that, it's like he put into words what I've always been thinking and doing. And it also even made me think a little bit differently about just the way I look at something. So let me break it down. I always talk about the glass being half full in this podcast, right? You guys hear me first episodes, go back, you'll see I've always said the glass is half full. You know what I mean? Look at it that way. And that's how I look at life in general. And again, it's just another word. It's a metaphor for being optimistic, right? I'm a very optimistic person. Well, we all know about the glass being half full, being optimistic, and the glass half empty, being pessimistic, right? Well, this guy had another way of looking at it. And before we even get there, what I want to talk about today is actually, let me say the point and how it relates. Because what he said was pretty profound, and I think it's going to change something in your brain this morning, maybe, to really go forward with certain things. But again, I say the glass is always half full. I'm an optimistic person. Some people say the glass is half empty. They may be pessimistic. But there's another part where you take that glass and you cut it in half, and now you got a full glass. So what does that mean? To me, what that meant was to do with what you have. See, we always are focusing on what we're lacking, right? This Monday morning, you probably woke up and you're like, I wish I had whatever. Insert here, whatever it is that you wish you had, right? You might be saying, there's something you want to accomplish, but you're just lacking one thing. And that's like a glass half empty type mindset. But even if you have a glass half full mindset, you might be saying, I'm going to accomplish that. I have the things I have, but I still need that one last thing before I can do this. So the glass is still half full because at least I have those things. But then if you're saying I don't have this thing, you're kind of both saying the same thing. Because if you're saying the glass is half full, but I'm missing one thing, but at least it's half full, sure, you're being positive and optimistic because you got most of the things, but you're still kind of looking at it as like you still need that thing to get going. Then there's another part where it's the pessimistic side, right? Or the glass is half empty. I need that. I just need that, but you're still not going. So if you kind of do it that way, you both are doing the same thing. You're both not moving because you feel like you're lacking something, right? And I'm using this as an example if you want to do something and you need one extra thing to get it done. But the other part of cutting the glass in half is focusing on what you have and going ahead with it. And it's something that I've always done because whether it's out of I'm in film and video. So, working on projects, especially growing up, it's not like I had access to everything. Now we're spoiled, right? The world we live in today, technology has gone so far. You can do so many things with the cameras we have. But growing up, when I was growing up, to get certain looks, to get certain styles, to get a lens on your camera, you need to do a lot, right? And it was expensive. Filmmaking was hard back then and expensive. So, you always had that mentality of the glass was half full or half empty because you needed one more thing to get it done, right? But what ended up happening is you kind of had to go with what you had, right? That's what I had to do. But it did allow for something that was amazing, which was creativity. Because when you're lacking certain things, you have to make up with it in some way, right? If I want to get this type of shot, well, I need this piece of equipment to get it done. But if I don't, ingenuity, let's say I needed a slider shot. And back then, dollies and sliders weren't as easy to get. Now you can get sliders on Amazon for $100 that you can set up on your table, and it might be the manual ones, right? But then you can also get the electronic ones and the motorized ones, which might be a little bit more. But I don't want to make this about filmmaking, but I'm just trying to say is it's accessible now. But back then it wasn't. So you had to use ingenuity and creativity where I would maybe take a skateboard or a wheelchair and stay still and someone push me. There's things like that you would do. So the creativity that comes from, the lack of things is one thing, but this idea of cutting the glass in half this morning, what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, what that looks like is taking the things you have and running with it and going. You might be having an amazing idea right now to do something, but you're not actioning it because you feel like you're lacking something, right? And you're like, if I just had that one thing. Cut the glass in half. It's not even glass half full or glass half empty. Cut the glass in half. You have what you have. And I promise you, depending on what it is, but majority of you, whatever it is that you have, any creative endeavors, any goals you want to go through, even if you were, let's say, starting a business, how many people want to start a business, but it's I need, funding to do this. It's the world we live in today, It's made things a lot easier. That I don't know what it could be. Let's say it's just I don't want to say an exact business idea, but put whatever business idea you have. I'm pretty sure you can get it started with no money, right? Obviously, if you're saying that you want to do something crazy that's like really big, okay, yes, maybe you need funding, you need capital, etc. But I'm using business as an example because there's a lot of things that we can do now that we can just start, and you don't need the things that you think you need, right? Maybe obviously to scale and get to the bigger level, but before you even get there, you should just get started with what you have. So this morning, I want you to look at your world. This Monday morning, whatever it is you want to do, think about it right now. I'm gonna give you a second as I drink my coffee. Think of something you want to do. Anything. It could be any goal you have. It could be a dream, creative aspiration. Doesn't really matter. I don't really care. It doesn't care. I don't care. I just want you to think of something that you have in mind that you want to do. And you might not be doing it. Why? I know you might ask yourself why. Is the glass half full for you? Is it that you have majority of things and you can get it going? Is the glass half empty? You feel like you're missing something? Just cut it in half and do with what you have. I think that mentality going forward, that framework, that mindset will shift so many things in your lives in general. I'm speaking from personal experience because I've done this throughout my life time and time again, without having to, I got just what I got. But I never thought about it that way. I always just thought about the glass being half full and I acted on the glass being half full. Well, I got half of the things I need. I'll figure it out along the way and just make it happen. But I never really realized after hearing, and then this guy had a word for it. And I forget the word he said. I don't think it was split the difference. It was something else. But whatever the word he said, after he did say just cut the glass in half, right? So you have the full glass. So that is something I've been doing my whole life. And it's worked and benefited for me because it allows you to start. That's the one thing I think a lot of people get held back from, right? Because I think having an optimistic or pessimistic attitude, it doesn't matter which one you have if you don't start the things you need to start. If you don't act on it. Last talk, we talked about, faith without works is dead, right? Meaning you can believe, you can have faith, you can, wish and all those type of things. But if you don't act on it and take the first step, it'll never happen. You can't just sit on the couch and do nothing. God's not going to come help you if you don't do for yourself first. You have to take the first step and he'll guide and bless your steps. Well, that's the same thing here, right? Like the glass half full, if you think the glass is half full and you're optimistic, but you don't act on it, it's not good. If you think the glass is half full or half empty, and you don't act on it because of that, it's the same thing. But if you think the glass is half full, just cut it in half. Or if it's half empty, cut it in half. Now you are using what you have. And I think that's a mindset to have that will really, really push you just to get things done, get things started, get things moving. And momentum is everything. I think a lot of times we don't realize in general in life how much momentum plays a role in things. And once you just get started, it really starts to build in general. And then you figure it out, that whole saying, jump off the cliff and build the plane on the way down. It's a true saying, right? Now, doesn't mean to jump off the bridge, burn all your boats and burn the plane. No. And it just means that, you got what you have. You got to figure out the rest along the way. And experience is the best teacher in general, right? So yeah, this Monday morning, that is really what has been on my mind. And I wanted to just share that framework because I've used it. It's worked well for me. I'm using it currently. I use it all the time. And I think it's something that if you adopt that, it will change the way you look at things. It'll change the way that you move in general. You'll stop looking, especially at the time we're in right now. We have so much access to so many things that there really isn't an excuse, to think of lack. You can get started in some type of way with whatever it is. So the homework this week, is to look at whatever it is you have going on that you want to do, whether it's a goal, whether it's an accomplishment, whether it's a creative endeavor, whether it's, an idea, whatever it is, I don't care. But whatever it is that you have going on, I want you to if you're an optimistic person, I love it. Glass half full. If you're pessimistic, I want you to start being a glass half full person and become optimistic. But to both sides, I want you to cut that glass in half, and whatever you have, now you're full. You have that full glass. And that full glass is whatever you have access to. All right. And actually, I think this is a great conversation for next week to talk about parameters and working within parameters with what we have. That's another. I don't want to put that onto this episode because I think I want you guys to sit on this week and have that mindset of cutting the glass in half. But that's the homework for this week. So with further ado, that's it. Short and sweet. I just wanted to get that off my chest, get it out of my mind into you guys. Again, if someone out there can use that framework, I'm happy. Again, this is free 99. So, hey, no refunds. This is just me and you kicking in and having a conversation. But it's worked for me. And I'm just giving advice that has worked for me, right? This is what this podcast is about. This is a podcast about this 33-year-old black man being able to just explain, things that I'm going through in life, I've gone through, and I've seen work. And I'm just trying to share that advice. Again, I'm known as like the happy guy. I'm known as the guy that's always smiling, all my life. And I feel like I have a pretty, good outlook on life that I think I can share with you guys. And that's why I like to have a conversation and just like have that, I can be that optimistic friend for you if you don't have one in your life, right? Well, I don't want to say friend because I might not know who the hell you are and you're not my brethren like that. But what I'm trying to say is a person to know, you know what I mean? A guy on the internet that's having a conversation with you to boost your Mondays up in the morning, just to have that quick convo. And just to let you know that there's people out there that have that optimistic outlook on life no matter what. And, I want you to adapt that as well. You might be in a situation where the people around you don't have that. Well, you can always plug in onto It's Only Monday and get a little dose of optimism in your life. All right. So that's it for today. Make sure you guys do the homework, cut the glass in half. I better not see y'all actually trying to cut glasses in half. I'm your boy JT. I hope you're blessed. Let's first thank God for another day. Yes, because we got to wake up today. It's Only Monday podcast. Let's get some energy into us. Let's stay blessed. Let's stay happy. Let's just keep it going this week. And just like, wins. That's what we're going to do today. Small wins. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, small wins all day. That's what we're going to do all week. And we're going to have a very good week. And then when I see you next Monday, I hope you leave comments about the wins you had this week so I can say, good job, buddy. That's it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. It's your boy JT.